Where it stops, no one knows. We're going head into the unknown. Na, 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 na.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Criminality. If you were here earlier, hello to you again. We just got off of a little over 5-hour Karen Reed live. And while that was happening, there was, of course, as Andrew says, there's more sands through the hourglass. And so are the days in Delphi. So this is, I took a peek at it while I was grabbing a snack in between lives. And I have not even got to read the whole thing. And I'm already like, what in the world is going on right now? So welcome back, everybody. Like I said, welcome to Criminality. If this is your first time here, hello, thank you for being here. I don't even have words so far. So I'm gonna say hi to you guys, and then we'll get into the documents that popped out today. A couple little announcements was that Judge Gohl, while I was live, decided to go ahead and cancel the hearings for this coming week. Well, technically tomorrow. There are other creators that actually are out there right now to go to the hearing starting tomorrow. And now they're gone. No hearings till she reads through the motion for her to recuse herself, essentially, and then she will reschedule the hearings. So I kind of feel bad for those guys, but, you know, at least you get to see, at least they get to see Freedom Bridge and the Mona High Bridge. So what's up, Tony? Hi, Sleuthy. Welcome back. I'm hoping she recuses. Well, she actually said she's going to read it, so I'm hoping she just reads it at this point. Hi, Sleuth Investigates. Is Aspen there too? Did Aspen go too? I know he was going to go for trial. Did he end up going for these hearings? I would have gone for these hearings if I could have, because I think these hearings are probably going to be even better than trial. There's going to be things that we hear in the hearings coming up, whether they're not this week, whenever they are, that I think are going to be important info. AJ's there as well, but you don't care. You like being there. You're just like, it's very overwhelming. My heart is about to burst. Oh, but it's very emotional. It's definitely different when you go to places like this. You can feel the energy around you. You know what happened, and you almost feel like you get to know the people involved because you're so invested in it for so long. He posted asking for other things to do. He should go to Flora, but the thing is he doesn't cover other cases, so it'll be harder for him. He needs to find something fun to do, probably. So what's up, Unindicted? Hi, Jamel. What's up, BGOG? Sleuth Investigate. C-Dub. Ramblin'. Hi, Malicious Intent. Yeah, 2 in one day. That's how it goes. I already had the Karen Reed live one planned, and then new Delphi doc, so here we go. Kyra, hello, Clyda Hope. Hi, Michelle. It's ridiculous. I know. She's, well, it is what it is at this point. Susan, welcome back. Hey, Just Deb. What's up, Johnny? Hey, something to say, Giselle, from a fellow Californian living in North Carolina. Well, hello. Hello. Caitlin, member for 5 months. What? AT in chat. My night just got better. Work sucks. I was like, people on the Karen Reed like Karen Reed live were like, oh yay, we're gonna have something to listen to while we work. And now we get the next batch. Cleveland rocks. It was way too long. I had almost forgotten you. Yeah, the whole 15 minutes. What's up, Teresa? Hi, Adrian. More missing evidence, Teresa says. What a shock. What a shock. What's up, Yankee Ghost? What's up, Tom? The intro song is the most intense song ever made. So I have in the description of, I think it's on almost every one of my videos, a direct link to the YouTube of the singer and the full version of it for anybody who is interested in that. I always got a lot of questions and I could never remember all the details. So I just started putting it in the description. I was like, that works. Snappy dragon. Snappy, snappy. All right, let me pop to the bottom. We'll see who's popped in. Oh no, more missing evidence. See, work really gets in the way of my criminality habit. I hate that. I hate when that happens. But it's okay. Nothing surprises me anymore. IKT recovers. Miss Smith. Hi, Grandma of 6. Grandma of 6. Shh, I don't mind. Can't ever get enough of tea. Wait, I feel like we have to. Like we like if you don't, you like miss a beat, and then all of a sudden you end up on like a 7-hour Delphi live. Been there, done that. Being in New Hampshire for the Harmony case shook me to. There really is something different about conversating about it on YouTube and standing in the courtroom. It is. It's very different. I know that last summer I went to Chad Doberman's house. If you guys aren't familiar with him, he's the dad who shot and killed his 3 young sons. I've covered the case on the channel if you aren't familiar, and he was getting ready to go to trial this summer, which is still pretty quick for triple homicide, but he's now got some different pleas and he's waived his right to a speedy trial. So, but I went there and it's very overwhelming. It's very overwhelming. What's up, Kit Kat? Hi, Hybrid. I didn't know that until it was too late. So now here we are, and we'll just have to make do and see what happens, and we'll try to do our best, and I'll go over there and listen, even if it's on replay. Hey, Lynn, hello again. Laura says, I was just watching your Karen Reed live from earlier. So much to catch up. I know, it's like just a constant. Jen P. Yeah, that was a very sad case. And then I've been to other places, just out of curiosity. When I was visiting Florida, I made sure to stop by, and I went to where Kaylee Anthony was found and by her grandparents' home, and in that whole area in Orlando. I have a huge attachment to that case. I don't know why, but I just like, and it's like weird because like other people will say stuff like this, and I'm like, that's so weird. Why do you feel that way? But like I had such a weird like attachment to Kaylee Anthony, like I don't know, her singing like her little "You Are My Sunshine." I don't know, it got me, and then that was it. I was sucked in. I needed to know what happened to her, and then I followed it until she was found. I followed it, watched the trial with my dad, and that was a disaster. And then I ultimately ended up naming my daughter Kaylee, same spelling. I know, but other people do it, and I'm like, that's fucking weird. Why are you doing that? Then here I am, but I do it, so I'm like, I get it. What's up, Hammy? Karen Reed's a half a day tomorrow. So she said that she was going to consider if she was going to start making the Tuesdays and Thursdays half days or full days. And so I don't think it would start tomorrow. I would assume she would wait till they're all in court and she can tell him. How dare I ignore Delphi for a half a day? Ramblin', you did? Aww. She's like, you too? Yeah, I don't know. She just got me. Sometimes they do that. Like I can't, I don't know. I just get wrapped up in it. I can't stand her. I'm all for, you guys know, if you guys have listened to this channel for any amount of time, I'm absolutely pro-Constitution, and I'm absolutely pro you are innocent until you are proven guilty in a court of law. Until Casey Anthony. Casey Anthony, I don't give a shit what the jury said. I don't give a shit if they think that she's not guilty. That woman is guilty. I got like that with Gannon Stauch. He was another one, but I had like a visceral hatred for Letitia Stauch. It was like unhealthy. You have a Kaylee too? What's up, Carrie? What's up, post-punk mama? You have that attachment to summer. I can see that. For me, I'm not going to go into too many other cases because I know we've got a lot to read through, but I've always just felt like summer's still alive. I know, I'm in the very, very minority there. I feel like summer's out there somewhere. All right, well, hello to everybody who just popped in. If I happen to miss you guys in chat, I apologize. Micah Miller is big here. I have to be careful as the husband is dangerous. I went to the beach memorial. I feel bad for that family. I do too. And I was going to cover it, and there was just so much that I just feel like I don't know if covering it a lot would be. I don't know. I don't know. I just didn't. There was like something. I've listened to other people's lives on Micah Miller, but for some reason I feel like I don't know if I'm helping. I always kind of, I don't know. It's like a feeling I have, and it's not that other people aren't helping, and I don't mean it like that. I don't know. There's something inside of me that just says like, you need to put this out there. Like Madeline Soto, like I wasn't going to cover Madeline Soto's case, and then it was like something inside of me was like, no, yes, you are. You're going to do that, whether you want to or not. You got your cocktail ready, Christy? Hoping Sebastian's out there with her. I was going to do Sebastian's case too, but it was by the time that I had time to cover it, it was so Summer Wells on social media that I was like, I can't even bring myself to get. It's another one that I listened to other people's lives on and listen to the interviews, but I can't bring myself to do it because I just feel like I'm adding to the chaos versus helping the chaos, which is one of the reasons I stopped covering Summer's case. So, but if there's anything that's actually substantial as an update on Summer, I absolutely will. But until then, I don't know. There's like, you just kind of, I kind of go with my gut on whatever it says. Like it tells me to do it and I do it. And if it tells me like, hold off, then I just hold off. But there's tons of cases I would love to cover and just don't have time for. It's just impossible. All right, let's get this up and going. Schmeed. What's up, Schmeed? Don't stop believing. All right, let's turn this off. I'm like pale now. Been sitting in front of this computer all day. Silky's live last night, just Deb. Was Meow on it? Was that last night's? If it's that one, I started it and haven't finished it. I'm super. Hi, Marshall. Yeah, it's chaos, and I don't know. It's just too hard when it gets like that, and then I don't know. Then you feel like you're kind of stuck in the middle of everything, and I don't want to do that either. And I don't want to take sides on the parents. I just don't know enough. So that's why I said I just kind of go with my gut, and it is what it is. All right, so let me go over here real quick and I feel like I'm missing something. Give me 1 second. No, I'm good. Okay. So these are pretty irrelevant. I'm just going to let you guys know that they came out today, and we'll just touch on them. So this is the objection to the defense's motion to continue. This is Nick essentially saying that he doesn't give a crap that the defense wants a continuance for these 3 days. As we already know, the outcome is there is no hearings this week. But Nick tries to say that there is no rule that okay, I'll watch that. But Nick tries to say that there is no rule that the judge has to rule on the motion to recuse before having any other rulings. And he also tries to say that the state does not make it clear, or the defense does not make it clear that when they were contacted about the motion to continue, that they objected to it. And they don't feel like the defense made that clear. Well, it was pretty clear. I don't know how much more clear it can be besides saying the state was contacted and they objected to this. I don't know. He's silly. So we had that simple, nothing, no big deal. And then the defense comes back with Nick, shut the F up. You don't know what you're talking about. We literally said the prosecution has been contacted and does object to this request. Like, what more do you want? Go away. And you don't even bother to cite any case law. So it's dumb. And You just gave us freaking phone dumps, a digital extraction of something a week before, and you want us to now go and fight that motion in court when you couldn't even bother to give us the evidence you were going to be using. Yeah, no, that's exactly why we need to postpone it. But nice try, Nick. Too bad. So sad. Judge already ruled that everything is dismissed for May 21st to the 23rd. No hearings. And she says, the court has reviewed the defense's second verified motion to disqualify judge and request for findings of facts and conclusions of law upon denial of this request. If the court denies this request filed Friday, May 17th, as the court is now required to review and rule upon the 42-page pleading, the court is compelled to cancel the pretrial hearing previously set with counsel's agreement. The court therefore orders the hearing set for May 21st to the 23rd, and this should not really be a surprise to her. This should not be a surprise. Literally, when they were scheduling this hearing, Baldwin stands up and he's like, hey, I have this 34-page motion for you to go away, and do you want a copy? I have one for you. And she's like, nope, I'll just read it when it drops on, when you file it. Don't worry about it. I don't need it. Knowing they were filing that, yes, they agree upon these dates for these hearings, but with the law saying she can't make any decisions on these motions until she makes a decision on that motion, they tried to even give her a copy of it, which has now been modified anyway. And she says no. They knew that these hearings weren't coming, because as soon as that motion to disqualify comes in, everything else is gone. That's it. Done. She can't do anything until she rules on it. So unless she was just going to bring it in, pop it in, and deny it, which, I mean, she could have, and then they could have still had the hearings. But I don't know. So anyway, for me, it's like, yeah, these weren't coming in. That's the bottom line. What's up, Ben? They're absolutely tired of this shit. Yeah. No, obviously Nick can't read. What's up, Roy? Good night, everyone. You going to bed? We just got here. Hey, Mrs. Troy. Do we think she'll recuse? I think she's so freaking cocky that she won't, but I think she should. I think she should at this point. I cannot, for the life of me, no matter what opinion you have of Richard Allen, that people do not see that she does not like this defense team. Like, there's the perception of bias, absolute, clear as day. I don't know any way around it. If she but the only thing is, too, because she's just so damn cocky, she knows that we're going to be back at the Supreme Court. And I say we'll be watching. They'll be back at the Supreme Court, because if she denies this, I can 99% guarantee you we're going to see another original action going to the Supreme Court to get rid of her, with a lot more evidence than we had the first time that they tried to get rid of her. So that's why I've said, no matter what side you're on, there's no way that anybody here thinks that she likes this defense team and can have any type of unbiased ruling on anything. And even if her rulings, let's say her rulings are all completely legit, and she's doing everything by the law. Let's just say she is. There's still such a perception of the fact that she hates these guys, especially, and she kind of did this to herself. On her order about the contempt, where she's just saying that they're essentially idiots, whether you think they are or not doesn't matter. She can't do that. And now here we are. So she might want to step down. Otherwise, the Supreme Court might make her, and she may not want to take that chance. She may not want to take that chance. She may not want to be removed by the Supreme Court. She may just say, you know what, I'm done. I quit. I don't want anything to do with this. Or she may say, let's try it. You guys, you think you're going to get rid of me? Go ahead. Take me to the Supreme Court. Let's see what happens. Now the court is required to read. I know, she's so pissed. She's like, now that they filed this, and she makes sure she puts in the time. They filed this on Friday, May 17th at 3:04, essentially making it so I have no choice but to cancel these hearings because of when they filed it. I haven't had a chance to read it, and I haven't had a chance to come up with my findings of facts and conclusions of law. So now I have to sit down and do that. So I don't have time to have these hearings. I mean, today's the 20th. So this will be, on the opposition, a very clear defense tactic to delay things. And I'm going to counter that before I even hear it with the fact that they're not delaying anything except for wanting to get rid of her and not allowing her to make any rulings on their motions or on Nick's motions because she's biased. So the delay is to remove her from the case. And that's a very, people can say like, you know, shady defense doing this last minute just so they could get away with it. Like, that's exactly, they want her gone because she can't make a decision without thinking about how much she hates them. Look at how she writes just in this order. As the court is now required to review and rule upon it. I mean, it's like almost like you can hear her. Like, I hear her. I don't know. I know. People think that she's doing a great job. Yay. All right. So, this is, I am missing one. I knew I was. Should I read the memorandum first or the motion to dismiss first? Which one should I read first? Which one matters first? Anybody? I'm going to take a drink. Give me 1 second. I'll wait for you guys to answer because I know some of you guys were already reading it before. So which one should be read first? The memorandum or the motion? Motion. Jenny, that'll be exactly what it is. People will be like, that's just the defense. And it's like, no, that's actually the rules behind it. Okay. Carla says motion. Kyra says motion. Oh, just Deb. Oh, you want the memo because you haven't seen it. All right. I want to read them in like in an order that makes sense for them. And since I haven't read them both in full, I've only skimmed one. We'll do it this way. So we will read the motion, and then we will read the memorandum. So this is. Hold on, real quick, you guys. Sorry, give me 1 second. Do you have your new Leo on?
No.
You didn't. Okay, so that I was talking to my daughter. So she had competition on Saturday. I'm going to do a mom brag really quick. I'm just going to throw that in the middle of this Delphi Live. My daughter is such a badass. She is such a badass. She came in, she competed on Saturday. She came in second on beam, second on bars, first on floor, first on vault, and first all around. Like, she's a badass. So I'm very proud of her. She got a new leotard, so I thought she was wearing it because she's about to head to gymnastics, so I wanted to see it. So she's not dressed yet though, so she's gonna go put it on so I can see it because she's got to head out here soon. I was so proud of her, and it was awesome because she was so proud of herself. Like, she was smiling like from ear to ear. She was so happy. So if you guys are, you know what, I should drop it in like I should show you guys sometime. So after her competitions, I make videos. I put all of her events together with some music and some fun stuff. So I should show it to you guys sometime. Probably not in the middle of a Delphi Live. You know, that probably doesn't make sense, but at some point I'll show you these her videos. I'm just so fucking proud of her. She just does. She's come so far, and she's just amazing. Are we gonna see her at the Olympics? I don't know. I don't think so. She doesn't train Olympic style. You know, they take the kids like when they're like 7 and start making them train like 14 hours a day and crazy shit. She's hardcore, but make a video and post it. I do. I already have the video from Saturday made. I made it yesterday. So I can post it. I don't know if I want to post it publicly, though. Do I want to post it publicly? Not all you guys are members, so I don't want to do members either because I want you guys to be able to see it. Maybe I'll post it. Should I post it in the Facebook group, maybe? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Or maybe I'll just show you guys at the end of a live sometime. And then that way, people who don't want to watch it don't have to. So many tabs open. I know. Close some of them. We don't need all these anymore. This is why my computer runs so slow. Oh, I don't want to mess with that one. I'll leave it. Okay. Yeah, I know. It's a nice break. I love them. They're like they're my favorite human beings, like to ever have walked the earth. Okay, so defendant's second motion to dismiss, because we remember we already had one and she denied it. We went over the transcript of it because this was the last hearing of the March 18th day where they did the contempt and they did all the crazy. So the very last hearing of that day was the motion to dismiss. She took it under advisement and then denied it. But at least they got a hearing on it. So it is what it is. Wait till you have grandkids. They trump the kids. Sweet. So now we're on our second one. And comes now the accused, Richard Allen, by and through his counsel, Andrew Baldwin, and pursuant to the 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution, moves this court to dismiss the charges against the accused for destroying or losing exculpatory evidence or potentially useful evidence in violation of the standards set out in Brady v. Maryland. In support of said motion, the accused states the following. That on February 7th of 2024, the accused filed his motion to dismiss for destroying exculpatory evidence and the memorandum in support of said motion. In his first motion, the defense detailed how a February 17th, 2017 interview of third-party suspect Brad Holder was destroyed while in the possession of law enforcement, along with multiple days of other interviews. On March 18th, 2024, a hearing was held on said matter. At the March 18, 2024 hearing, Steve Mullen, the investigator for the prosecutor's office, remember, Steve Mullen was previously the Delphi chief of police. Serendipity, yeah, you get a BOGO today. Furthermore, I just went into Steve Mullen, testified that other evidence was destroyed in 2017 as well, as it was purportedly unintentionally taped over. Furthermore, at said March 18, 2024 hearing, the defense tendered Mullen's undated reports that purportedly explained how the evidence was destroyed. The prosecution did not tender these reports to the defense until after the motion to dismiss was filed. Also, said reports were only turned over to the defense after the defense requested those items from the prosecution. Oh, Carrie, thank you. You're dropping some gifted memberships. I appreciate that. On April 2nd, 2024, this court issued its ruling denying the defense's motion to dismiss the charges. Since the time of this court's denial of said motion, the defense has learned of other exculpatory evidence and or potentially useful evidence that the prosecution has not turned over to the defense, that it's missing, or that the state of Indiana has destroyed it. Just like Allen's first motion to dismiss, the missing destroyed evidence relates to third-party suspect Brad Holder. So Brad Holder's missing phone extraction data. Of course it does, right? Like, are we surprised? Look at you guys. Thank you, Adrian. Adrian just dropped 5 more. You guys are all going to be members. Woo woo. See, by the end of this live, I will be able to just post it as a members, post her video as a members video. You guys will all be members. Seeing green. Wanderer, holy moly, I haven't kept up with this case. I'm gobsmacked. This is worse than the Canton cops putting blood in solo cups. I think this is probably why I'm just so invested in both at this point, where it's just like, I'm not normally into the whole, besides JFK, I don't normally buy into a lot of conspiracies, but to have two big ones with third-party culprits that are so public right now and essentially like happening side by side, it's crazy. We love you, Adrian. We really do. You're such a sweetheart. You're just such a good soul. Hi, Phoenix. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. I love you guys. I appreciate you all so much. I hug you all. It just brings me to Bob, like, oh, family hug. They do, right, Hybrid? It's so crazy. So since the time of this court's denial of said motion, the defense has learned of other exculpatory evidence and or potentially useful evidence that it's all Brad Holder's. Isn't that interesting? Isn't it ironic? So Brad Holder's missing phone extraction data. During a recent deposition of Brad Holder, so now they have another deposition of him, the defense learned that Brad Holder is pretty sure that he turned over his phone to law enforcement on February 17th, 2017. The prosecution has not turned over any data, any extractions, any reports, or any other evidence from Brad Holder's phone. Okay, she's got the Leo on. Hold on, you guys. Let me see. Is it really?
On my arms, yeah.
Oh, no. Are you going to be able to wear it?
I don't know. It's kind of tight. Like, it fits nicely, but then it's like...
Sure. It's up high on your neck. It does look nice.
It does look nice. It's just really...
Is it too small? Oh, no.
Does it look too tight?
No?
Should I take the tag off or no?
Well, I can't return it. I mean, it's yours now.
What am I supposed to do with that?
I don't know. I guess if you're not going to keep it, we can give it to, like, Gracie. If it's too tight.
What time is it?
4:43.
Should I go change it?
It's up to you. If you can't handle it, then...
It's so cute.
It is really cute.
I'm going to keep it on, and I'm going to try it for one practice.
Do it. Okay. Yeah, especially because these flipping leotards are, like, expensive. Stupid expensive. All right. Sorry, sidetracks. Mom stuff. So the prosecution has not turned over anything to do with this phone data. Now, is this just him saying that he thinks he gave it over, or did he actually give it over? Yeah, new Leo fund. Absolutely. Amy K, 4 months. Whoop, whoop. Oh, and you gifted 5 memberships? Thank you. Look at you guys. This thing is going to turn green. So expensive. I know. It's crazy. Curiously, on the same day, at the same time that Brad Holder believes that he turned over his phone over to law enforcement officers, his son, Logan Holder, also turned over his, Logan Holder's, phone. The prosecution has turned over the data extracted from Logan Holder's phone, but not any data extracted from Brad Holder's phone. While the data from Logan Holder's phone was extracted, law enforcement apparently claimed that they, law enforcement, failed to extract the data from Brad Holder's phone, even though both he, Brad, and his son turned over their phones to law enforcement at the same time. Wait, so are they actually saying they did not? They took his phone, but actually didn't do an extraction instead of saying they lost it? Is that what's happening right now? Thank you, Amber. Ooh. Oh, look at it. Look at Fiend in green. But if law enforcement is saying, if they apparently claim, did they actually? Okay, keep reading. I know. Okay, fine, I'll keep reading. You know, I do that all the time. I start asking questions, and then I'm like, I just read it. Get more answers. Jerry Holman stated under oath at a recent deposition that he believes police just looked through Brad Holder's phone, but encouraged the defense to find out for sure from the FBI. Okay, so he was just deposed again also on May 3rd. We're going through like a whole nother round of depositions. Okay, when asked if he, Holman, would have extracted data from Brad Holder's phone if given the opportunity, Holman was non-committal. Depends on the circumstances, but I think you'd have to ask the FBI what they did. Okay, did the FBI extract Logan Holder's phone? So he's like, just keep reading, Teresa. Finally, after being pushed by the defense, Holman finally conceded that he would have extracted data from Holder's phone if given the opportunity. The defense finds it highly, highly unlikely that law enforcement would take the time to collect both Brad Holder's phone and Logan Holder's phone, but then choose to only conduct an extraction of Logan Holder's phone, especially when Brad Holder was a suspect at the time. And no evidence provided to the defense suggests law enforcement considered Logan Holder a suspect. Well, Mullen on the stand said that, was it Mullen on the stand or Holman? One of them said that he was not a suspect at the time, which is why it didn't matter. That's why it didn't matter if his interview was taped over. Holy smokes. Carrie, thank you. Thank you so much. That is so kind of you. Thank you very much. You want a couple $100 on a $5 scratcher? Hot diggity damn. Just a few minutes ago, you're like, hey, I'm feeling lucky. You're like, wait a minute. I can't. Like, wait a minute. I need these answers now. This is why I need you guys in chat, though, because some of you guys are like, okay, just keep reading, Teresa. You will get to your own answer. Okay, so if given the opportunity, he says he would have done it. The defense finds it highly, highly unlikely that they only extracted Logan Holder's phone, because Logan Holder wasn't even considered a suspect. But at the testimony, like I said, on the 18th, they said Brad Holder wasn't either. So, I don't know. On February 17, 2017, documents specifically sought by the defense, Doug Carter's emails with the FBI, provided evidence that Brad Holder was a suspect within days of the murder, and certainly on February 17, 2017, when Holder interviewed at the Delphi police station and turned over his phone to law enforcement. Freaking Carter. State Police Superintendent Doug Carter was aware that Brad Holder was a suspect. Even the top FBI agent in Indianapolis, Jay Abbott, was aware that Brad Holder was a suspect on February 17, 2017. Logan Holder was not mentioned as a suspect in these emails. Yet they took his phone data and not Holder's. What? So now I got to go back to the transcripts and figure out which one of them, who was testifying that said it didn't matter that the recordings were taped over because Holder wasn't a suspect at the time. Remember? And Doug Carter is the head of the Unified Command. He's the head of the freaking ISP. And he's calling Brad Holder a suspect. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. You think it was Gold that said it? No, it was not. Silly. Holy smokes. We're only on page 3. This begs the question, why would law enforcement take both Brad Holder's phone and Logan Holder's phone, but only extract data from Logan Holder's phone when he was not even a suspect, but would not extract any data from Brad Holder's phone when he was a suspect? Jesus Christ. Additionally, the defense possesses 101 phone extractions that law enforcement conducted on a variety of other phones, many of which seemingly have little or nothing to do with the murders. This begs another question. Why would law enforcement take the time to extract data from 101 phones, most of which were not owned by suspects, yet would not extract data from Brad Holder's phone when they had his phone in their hands on February 17th, 2017, and he was a suspect at the time? The defense believes that the above information provides strong circumstantial evidence that law enforcement did extract the data from Brad Holder's phone on February 17th and has not turned it over to the defense. Logic and common sense support this belief. If law enforcement failed to extract suspect Brad Holder's phone data while it was in their hands on February 17th, then the only other explanation would be that law enforcement was completely and utterly inept. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Yeah, these guys are just, I mean, they just do, none of these people like each other. You haven't noticed that. None of these people like each other. All evidence of Brad Holder's second interview with law enforcement is missing. Additionally, Brad Holder testified in his deposition that in addition to law enforcement's February 17, 2017 interview, which was purportedly accidentally taped over, that law enforcement conducted a second interview of Brad Holder sometime later, probably within a year or two of his first interview. Holder further testified at his deposition that A, law enforcement conducted this second interview at the Logansport police station. B, the interview took about an hour and a half. C, the interview was likely videotaped in an interview room. D, the interview involved much questioning about Patrick Westfall. After the deposition, the defense alerted the prosecutor's office that the defense had A, no phone dump extraction evidence from Brad Holder's phone. Defense alerted the prosecutor that the defense had no extraction. B, no evidence whatsoever in the form of video, audio, reports, notes, or any other type of evidence of law enforcement's second interview of Brad Holder at the Logansport police station on, oh my gosh, on May 13th, 2024, the prosecution advised the defense by email that they cannot locate an interview of Brad Holder at the Logansport PD and have no record of Brad Holder's phone being downloaded. At a recent deposition when Unified Command's Jerry Holman was asked about how the defense could obtain any information about this second interview, Holman said he had no idea, but encouraged the defense to reach out to the Logansport PD to find out. That's not how it works. That's not how it works, Holman. Holy shiznit. The defense is not, okay, you're going to tell you right now. The defense is not required to locate exculpatory evidence or potentially useful evidence of third-party suspects. That is the requirement of law enforcement. Also at said May 2nd, 2024 deposition, Brad Holder told a third different story concerning how many times he met victim Abigail Williams. Now he says 2 times. So before he had said he'd never met her, and then he said he met her once, and now he's saying he met her twice, and that one of Brad Holder's meetings with Abby Williams took place at Patrick Westfall's house? What? It took place at Patrick Westfall's house? No. No. When Jerry Holman was confronted with Brad Holder's ever-changing stories concerning how many times Brad Holder had met Abby Williams, Holman stated, "Perfectly reasonable, in my opinion, that he remembered something, that he remembered somebody insignificant. If you've only met them twice, you may not remember that. So I don't see exactly what you're asking me." What? What? He considered it insignificant? So Jerry Holman, at this point in time in 2017, 2018, knows that Brad Holder was a suspect. Also knows that Brad Holder told them that he had never met Abby, and then supposedly changed it that he had met her one time. That was later, though. So he knows that he's a suspect, and now he knows he's lying about the fact that he never met the girlfriend. And I'm going to be very clear. That, to me, does not just go from one extreme to making Brad Holder any type of murderer or anything like that. But what it does do, once again, in this case, is allow for continued follow-up on this suspect to figure out why he's lying, what all he's lying about, and to make sure that he has an actual clear alibi, which they don't do. So I'm not making the leap to that he was there and did all of this. What I'm saying is this is law enforcement's job. Now, I'm wondering how much Holman had to do with any of these interviews. So, like, is it weird that they're asking Holman these questions and he's like, what do I, why are you asking me this shit? Like, I'm not the one who did it. Now, I don't know about that. I don't know. Well, once again, I probably should just keep reading. But if you know that he lies about meeting the victim of a murder, why would you not continue to question that? How do you take that and create the word insignificant? That makes no sense to me. That is not insignificant. It is not insignificant. Hi, Alina. I mean, I think that they probably kind of did, but it wasn't great. So they're hiding it because that would hurt the case. I don't even know. I don't know these people. Holman, Liggett. I don't know what to do about these guys. I don't know what to think about these guys. And now we've got Doug Carter via email with the FBI stating that he knows that Brad Holder is a suspect on the 17th. And nobody cares that the suspect whose son has a relationship with Abby, but yet they take the son's phone? Like, that is not, that math ain't mathed for me. Insignificant that he lied about how many times he'd met one of the victims. That is not a word I would use. It would be, yeah, that's an interesting fact and would lead somebody to continue to investigate that further and find out what else is being lied about. Yeah, the dog said so too. Ursa agrees. Oh, he'll just say that they're dumb and they don't understand it. They don't understand how all this works. When Holman was asked if it were likely that Brad Holder would not remember meeting Abby, when Holder was asked 3 days later after the murders at his February 17, 2017 interview, but then 7 years later, he would remember meeting Abby twice, Holman responded, possibly, yeah. No. Don't we typically, like in trials, aren't we asking like the questions along the lines of, your memory was probably better closer to the time of the crime? Like, I mean, that's typically like kind of like the questioning that they go down. Instead, it's like, well, yeah, no, he could have easily remembered. Andrew, thank you so much. And the Dr. Pepper Fund. I know I'm going to need a refill. I'm going to need a refill. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's be a little fair to Nick. He wasn't the prosecutor then. Well, if Holder is interviewed later, he would have been the prosecutor because he says he's interviewed like a year later. I know. Oh, Yves. What's up, Kelt? Yeah, you need to rewind if you haven't heard this, Kelt. Well, this would also make sense why they don't want anybody talking about these guys. If this amount of info is missing, is Brad just making up the fact that he was interviewed in Logansport? Like, there's nothing? Who interviewed him? Who was there? Are there recordings missing from the Logansport PD also? Like, where's the police report? So is Holder literally just saying that he was interviewed at a time that he was never interviewed? Hi, Dom. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. I know, Mary. I know. Yeah. I don't even know what to make of this yet. Like, I'm trying to wrap my mind around it. Maybe they took Logan Holder's phone to determine if Abby had a phone. Interesting. But if one of your suspects in your murder investigation hands you their phone and says, take it and take all the info you want, and you don't, this goes back to that, why aren't you proving, like, I almost think that, like, the Brad Holders in this situation, let's say Brad Holder was truly at work and had nothing to do with anything. Like, I mean, as of right now, literally, besides what the defense has said, that's kind of where we're at in the whole thing. So let's just think about it for a second. I would be so pissed at law enforcement. Like, you guys, I gave you my phone and you didn't do anything with it. I told you I was at work and told you who to contact for my alibi. You don't even bother to go get it. Now look, 7 years later, this is what's happening because these people didn't do their damn jobs. I don't know how much Holman is involved in the interviews though of Brad Holder. So I'm still very curious on, are they asking Holman these questions and he's like, I have no idea. I had nothing to do with that. Like, I don't, that's my only concern with this so far on the defense side is like, are we talking to the person who should know all this stuff? Well, I mean, he's part of the unified command and there isn't a ton of them. So they should all kind of know all the things. Right? So Holman just showed no curiosity and no interest whatsoever about why Holder's stories have changed. No, because they don't care about Holder. They don't want to talk about Holder. And they don't think Holder has anything to do with anything. So they're saying, no, we don't. Yeah, Unified Command knows all the things. There were 6. And then there were 5, Fiend. Sean Evans' uncle who was arrested interviewed him. He was a Logansport cop, right? No, that wasn't him. Sorry, wrong one. Hold on, my memory's going bad on that. I'm going to retract that. Rewind. You take all phones for an extraction. Well, especially if they're taking all these other phones. 101 phones of mostly don't have anything to do with anything. I'm patiently waiting to hear Barbara McDonald go on court TV and say, oh, yeah, I knew about that years ago. I had a source close to the investigation told me, that this was a possibility. There were 6 people. There is currently still 6 people on the unified command. I was joking because it looks like Holman probably needs a new job. Fiend. Nancy! Is he an informant? Oh, interesting. Holman was in charge of the unified command. That's why I'm like, okay, yeah, so he would know everything. Why was Abby at West Falls is my question. Who took her there? Who took her there? I love that. Carrie's like, I can still type. I'm speechless, but my fingers still work. There used to be 7. Fiend. P. Diddy's a piece of trash. And that's saying it nicely. I am right? Okay, thank you. Abby could have been there with her boyfriend because he was Dad's brother in Odin and whatever. And whatever. Wait, no, it was 6. And then it was 5, and now it's 6 again. What are the numbers about? That's about the amount of men on the unified command. Bean can list them all out. Holman, Liggett, was Tobe. I don't know how they did that. I don't know if like one replaces the other. I mean, Westfall lived in Delphi, so I mean, they could have walked there easy. It's not that far. They could have easily walked over there. Fiend, list them out so that it makes it easier because my memory is like shot now. So why did Westfall lie and say neither he or Logan ever met her in person? Well, it seems like they both did. They both lied. Rebecca said, "Oh shit, what I missed? You missed so much. You missed a ton." Dead Kata. Dead Kata. All 6 are in the Franks. I know, but I don't remember them. Vito was Unified Command. Okay, let's get back to it. Now I'm going to lose my spot. No curiosity, no interest whatsoever, nothing on why Holder's stories changes. Attitude supports an argument which defense will later make in this motion that law enforcement have acted intentionally or in bad faith to conceal evidence to such a degree that they cannot even admit obvious factual inconsistencies that point the finger at third-party suspects. Right, this is definitely a typo. Patrick Westfall was interviewed on August 17, 2023, and law enforcement extracted data from Westfall's phone. This is the one we know that he had just gotten. The phone extraction shows that Westfall's phone had no data prior to August 11th, which was the day that law enforcement contacted Westfall and asked him to come in to be interviewed 1 week later. So he's interviewed on the 17th, like I said, typo. That's the 2023. He essentially gets a new phone or completely factory resets his phone and starts fresh and only has the data from the day that he's contacted to come in. Come on. In other words, it appears that Patrick Westfall either erased all the phone data on his phone. Literally, I should just keep reading. Or purchased it. I could write this shit at this point. Like, seriously. In other words, it appears that Patrick Westfall either erased all the phone data on his phone or purchased a new phone after police contacted him on or about August 11th, 2023. The only data found on Westfall's phone was between August 11th, on or about when police contacted him, and August 17th when he was interviewed. No texts, videos, no photographs, email, messages, nor any other data existed on Westfall's phone before the day that police contacted him on August 11th. Susan Matt McCabe advised Patrick Westfall on what to do about his phone. He got an upgrade. Maybe it was his birthday. It was his birthday a month before, so he got an upgrade. This is so bad. Oh, thank you, Jen. Shane Evans. Yeah, the ex-mayor. He's now an attorney, the ADA at the district attorney's office, and he is running for judge of Carroll County. I don't know. Both sides in this case need a damn freaking proofreader. It drives me nuts. He's a criminal. What did they expect him to do? Great point, KO. Now, once they figure out that they only have the 6 days worth of data, do they call him out on it? I'm going to keep reading and see if they answer this question. Well, if it's your birthday a month prior, Sleuthy. Oh, yeah, he's about to be the next judge. That's why Diener's gone. No text, no videos, no nothing. When Jerry Holman was confronted with the fact that Patrick Holder... Whoa, wait, who? Gosh darn defense. Get a proofreader, Andy. When Jerry Holman was confronted with the fact that Patrick Westfall likely attempted to hide his phone data from the state police, Holman claimed that he found nothing unusual, stating people erase things all the time. Later, Holman stated that he found nothing suspicious about Patrick Westphal deleting, concealing his phone data before his August 17th, 2017 interview. I'm fucking dead right now. Holman doesn't seem to care. Because they got their guy. This is not a big deal to them. They're only doing these things for the motions of the defense team. They don't care. They're not looking at these people as suspects. They don't care what they do. It's so bad. How do you not admit that that's weird that he deletes? Like, that would be the first thing. Like, let's say they contacted him on August 11th and that was it. Like, how in the world, if he had deleted everything from July 11th back, I would go with Holman here. Like, hey, how would this guy know that we were going to call him in and do this deposition and that you guys were going to write about him in a Frank's memo? Come on. People erase their phones. They get new phones. It happens. But no, we don't find it sus at all. As this now Lieutenant Jerry Holman doesn't think it's suspect at all that this guy just deletes his entire data, but then offers them up all, here's my phone. Oh yeah, here you go. I said, hi Sharon. It's surreal how full of shit they are. This is the people who are investigating crime. He's like, yeah, no, I don't really see any issue with that. I don't see any issue with that. Probably the same reason I didn't go pick up any phones when people called me and said they had phones belonging to like Johnny Messer. I just didn't think it was a big deal. It's not surprising. People just have phones, you know? Yeah, great point. How are they not even looking at it like that? Is Richard Allen the only one that didn't delete his damn phone? No, he's the guy who keeps every fucking phone in the world. And just has all of his phone info. Everybody else who just deletes it and doesn't keep their phones and gets phone upgrades at random ass times. Those guys, those aren't sus. Maybe he deleted shit off of his phone. And that's why he's like, yeah, it's normal. I deleted all this shit off my phone on August 11th too. As soon as I was done with this deposition with you assholes. He probably does erase some stuff off of his phone. We know Holman's the one who met up with Terry. You know, the whole met up with her and drove around town. I bet he does delete some stuff off his phone. People erase things all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the same thing. Again, Holman, God, we're only on page 6. I gotta just read. Again, Holman's attitude toward third-party suspect Patrick Westphal supports the defense's position that law enforcement has intentionally destroyed evidence or acted in bad faith or have intentionally not provided missing evidence such as Brad Holder's second interview as well as other items identified in this motion. At his August 30th, 2023 interview, State Trooper David Vito did not even ask Brad Holder if he, Holder, would allow state police to extract data from his Holder's phone, even though it is clear that Holder had brought his phone with him to the interview. Therefore, it is not known whether Holder similarly hid erased data from his phone like it appears Westphal hid and erased data from his phone. It certainly is curious as to why Vito did not request Holder's phone data when Holder brought his phone to the August 13, 2023 interview. Because they were just doing that to go through the motions. They didn't care. They just brought him in. Now, I'm actually surprised they asked for Patrick Westphal's. It is also curious as to why Vito failed to ask Brad Holder one single question about Elvis Fields. Why'd they bring him in then? What were they asking him? It is also curious as to why Vito failed to ask Brad Holder one single question as to the incriminating statements that Amber Holder attributed to Brad Holder that are detailed in Frank's 1. Well, I don't know. I'm struggling with that because Frank's 1 wasn't out yet. They didn't have it on August 30th for him to know the stuff Amber Holder had said, correct? Or had that been turned over from the defense to the prosecutors already. Maybe not in a Frank's form, but in a discovery form. I doubt it. Back then, I doubt they had given them anything. So I'm not sure he would have known to ask him those questions. Vito's failure to ask such important questions to Brad Holder during the August 30th, 2023 interview supports the defense contention that law enforcement is acting in bad faith. There's a mimicked crime scene image found on Brad Holder's social media is lost. Okay, we know a little bit about this. In addition to Holder's 2017 missing phone extraction and missing evidence of Holder's second interview at the Logansport police station, as well as Holder's taped over first interview from February 17, 2017, another key piece of evidence is also missing. The mimicked crime scene photo that was on Brad Holder's social media pages. Trooper Purdy viewed this mimicked crime scene image on Brad Holder's social media page sometime in the spring of 2017. This image was marked as Exhibit F in Purdy's deposition and discussed. This mimicked crime scene image found on Holder's social media page holds an eerie similarity to the actual crime scene. In the mimicked crime scene image found on Holder's social media page, the bodies of two women appear to be staged, lying on the ground in the woods with branches laid across their bodies. One of the women in the mimicked crime scene image found on Brad Holder's social media page has her arms staged and positioned in a similar manner as one of the victim's hands were staged positioned in this case. At the time that Trooper Purdy observed the mimicked crime scene photo on Brad Holder's social media page, this is when they get repetitive, and I hate when they do that. I don't know, maybe they have to, but I'm just like, the general public did not have knowledge of the appearance of the crime scene, the positioning of the bodies on the ground in the woods, or that branches and sticks were arranged on the bodies. In an April 12, 2017 report from Trooper Ryan Winters, it was learned that the state police also came into possession of said mimicked crime scene image through an internet sleuth named Ryan Boucher. Ryan used to pop on here when we went over the Frank's memo. Boucher alerted Winters to the disconcerting images on Brad Holder's social media pages and then sent said images to Trooper Winters over the internet. On April 12th of 2017, Trooper Winters then shared with Jerry Holman Winters' knowledge of the mimicked crime scene images found on Holder's social media pages and the other information. Because of the similarities between the images that Boucher sent Trooper Winters, I'm not even going to read it again, and the crime scene, Trooper Winters requested that Brad Holder be re-interviewed. Okay. Despite that request, state police ignored Trooper Winters and never re-interviewed Brad Holder. Brad Holder was only interviewed in August 2023 after Jerry Holman was challenged by the defense to reopen the Brad Holder investigation. Well, that's not necessarily true. If he was truly interviewed in Logansport, he is interviewed again. Sorry, I got really behind on chat. So if this is happening in the winter, I'm reading his name, in the spring of 2017, Holder's saying he's interviewed again about a year, maybe 2 years later, doesn't really seem to remember. He is interviewed again before 2023. But does that interview even actually exist? Was he interviewed about this case? Was he interviewed about something else? Who interviewed him at Logansport, right? I have no idea. I know, Jane. To this day, the prosecution has failed to turn over the mimicked crime scene image that Purdy found on Holder's social media in 2017. Fortunately, because internet sleuth Boucher had saved the image that he had turned over to Trooper Winters, the defense team was able to drive to Georgia and retrieve that image. I don't understand why they had to drive. I found that weird. I don't know why they had to drive there. But where's the... Okay, so if we don't have it from Purdy, where do we have it from Trooper Winters? Because he also got it. When deposed, Trooper Winters claimed that the state police could not access the images that Boucher found on Holder's social media, that Boucher then turned over to the state police. That's Winters' deposition from August 23rd, 2023. Well, how was he not able to access it, but yet asked and said that he thought they should re-interview him? And if you can't access it, why wouldn't, and you don't have a way to find it, why wouldn't you just get a hold of the guy who told you about it and ask him to resend it? No? When deposed, Trooper Winters claimed that the state police... I already said that one. How could state police lose such an important piece of evidence as an image found on a suspect's social media that mimics the crime scene? The defense again would proffer that the mimicked crime scene photo was not lost. Logic and common sense dictates that such an important piece of evidence would not be lost by state police. The defense is filing simultaneously herewith its memorandum in support of its second motion to dismiss based upon newly discovered, destroyed, and or missing exculpatory evidence. As detailed in said memorandum, if the defense can show that the missing evidence is exculpatory in nature, then the defense does not need to show that the missing evidence was intentionally destroyed. If, on the other hand, the defense cannot show that the missing evidence was exculpatory in nature, but can show that the missing evidence is potentially useful evidence, then the motion to dismiss should still be granted if the defense can show that law enforcement intentionally or acted in bad faith regarding the destroyed or missing evidence. What a fucking mess. Oh, he didn't have access in 2023? Okay, thank you for clarifying that. All right, let me catch up on chat and then we'll go to the next section. What's up, Four Pitbulls? But, so, I mean, two different people had it, Purdy and Winters. Hopefully you will interview and cancel out your very first suspects and definitely look through them thoroughly. But I'm saying they haven't done none of that. No, that's why I'm like, imagine if you're not actually involved in the case. Like at this point, and I thought this about like in the Karen Reed case too. Like you almost get to the point where you're pissed off that the police do such a shitty investigation of you that you're like wishing that they had investigated you. Hey, Anon. Holman was Unified Command, so if he was told he should have done it, then he or someone with Unified Command should have done it, and Holman knew about it. And somebody look up Trooper Winters and make sure he's still alive. Well, he was just deposed in August of last year, so not that that means anything. My understanding is that Brad Holder is interviewed February of 2017, fall of 2017, and again in August of 2023. We can't figure out the fall of 2017 because it seems like he says like it was a year later. That's the one in Logansport, and nobody seems to know anything about this interview. Like, there's no... Well, Holman just told the defense team to contact Logansport themselves. So dumb. That is not how it works. Hi, John. Oh, man. The defense turned over the pick to the prosecution. Yeah. I don't know why. The prosecution already has it. Yeah, they just wanted a road trip, so they just drove to Georgia. Why are they trying to hide and cover up for Holder? Or, I mean, it's tough because what if there's like 6 other people out there that they did the same shit to? But we're only focused on Holder because that's what the defense is looking at. What if they just did just a shoddy job all over the place and everybody's stuff's gone? And it's like, oh yeah, Logan Holder, we don't have his interview, but here we have his phone data. And here, Brad Holder, we have his interview, but we don't have his phone data. And then Westfall, we didn't even really talk to him. No body cam. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like bits and pieces of everything. No wonder it took fucking 7 years or 5.5 years to even get an arrest. And no wonder we're sitting here going, what the hell is this clusterfuck? Okay, so Trooper Winters is out of the Putnamville ISP post. So he is more than likely not involved in a cover-up, and he's still alive and on the force. Okay, thank God. Thank you, Carrie. No, but he's just like, but I wonder why Ryan Boucher sent it to him, of all places, then. Maybe he just contacted ISP. Brad Holder has come up over and over and over again. I honestly, Susan, we were doing Karen Reed. I popped off Karen Reed, went to the restroom, grabbed some crackers, and sat back down and had a new life. So I haven't been able to see anything about anything. Yeah, Doug Carter, where are you at? There's so many things I want to tell you about this, but today is not the day. One day you will. Today is not the day. What I don't understand is why is a police force this over its head turned away by the why do they turn away the FBI? I can't wait to hear that reasoning. I think they just went 2 completely separate directions. And my opinion would be it would probably have a lot to do with Keegan Kline, because the FBI had already gone to Keegan Kline and ruled him out as having nothing to do with the murders. And then all of a sudden they have this, CSAM bust, and we have the Unified Command really pushing the narrative that Keegan is involved in this. Is the FBI guy Jay or no? Do they have a different FBI guy? Karen Reed and Crackers sounds like a children's variety program from the 70s. Yeah, that's what they have. I think they really wanted it to be Ron Logan, and that didn't work out for them. Then they really wanted it to be Keegan Kline, and then that didn't work out for them. And now they want it to be Richard Allen. And so far it's working out for them, because, I mean, look at where they are. Look at where he is. It was the bullet, I bet. The FBI returned it as having no evidentiary value because it was spent and not fired. And Carter said, okay, we don't need your help anymore. All the while knowing who did it. I was alive for a few months in the 70s. That was it. I was born in 79, right at the end of it. Oh, no, I think he was just joking with you, Carrie. All right, so let's go to the next section. The exculpatory nature. I really need to get a new office chair. This thing is just not comfortable. The exculpatory nature of the missing evidence. Currently, the list of missing evidence that the prosecution has not turned over to the defense includes the following. The video of Brad Holder's first interview from February 17th of 2017. The video of Logan Holder's interview from February 17th of 2017. The data from Brad Holder's phone extraction from February 17th of 2017. Video from Brad Holder's second interview with law enforcement taken at the Logansport police station sometime in 2017 or 2018. Audio taken from Brad Holder's second interview with law enforcement. Well, that's essentially the same. It was an either or. I mean, audio would be part of the video. Well, I guess not in this circumstance. I don't know what I'm talking about. There's all kinds of stuff with no audio. Any reports, notes, or documents concerning or referring to Brad Holder's second interview. Like, did it not happen? Mimicked crime scene photo observed by Trooper Purdy on Brad Holder's social media page. Or the images that Ryan Boucher sent to Trooper Winters on April 12th Damn, he sent that shit quick on April 12th of 2017. Oh, Hammy, thank you. Definitely, I need the chair fund. Stupid freaking chair. Hi, Joanna. Welcome. I was live the last 3 weeks of the 80s. I was live the last 4 months of 79. I was alive in the 80s. It was lit. The fact remains that Brad Holder is purposely being dismissed by Ellie. Why? Not cleared, but completely looked over. Absolutely. Hold on, I got a tiny human. What's up, dude? I don't know. I'm not the keeper of your go-kart. Ryan Boucher is an internet sleuth. He was mentioned in the Franks memo. Oh, Winters was promoted in 2020. Who is the keeper of the go-kart, Nanya? She's supposed to be. It's his. Okay, so notice all the missing items are related to third-party suspect Brad Holder. Also note that the prosecution is asking that the defense not be allowed to even mention the name Brad Holder during trial. Currently, the list of evidence that the prosecution failed to turn over to the defense until the defense requested the prosecution to turn it over, or upon the prosecution's realization that the defense would soon be learning about the existence of said evidence, includes the letter from Todd Click plus the accompanying 85-page report. The prosecutor held on to this evidence for over 4 months until he knew the defense would learn of its existence. The multiple Elvis Fields interviews, the Rod Abrams interviews, the Johnny Messer interviews, the Taylor Hornaday interviews, that's Johnny Messer's ex-girlfriend, Ned Smith's interview, and Liberty German's phone dump. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry. Hey, Boston Christian. If my kids ask for something as I tell them it's not my day to watch it. Yeah. Why don't I see names? Does that mean they blocked me? No. Make sure that up on the top it'll say top chat or what's it? All messages. It's not all messages. It's something else. Make sure you're on the all one, not the top chat, because sometimes it I don't know how it filters out which one is which. I don't even know why the fudge we have to on YouTube. Of all the things we don't actually need, that's one of them. Okay, so notice that all the items in paragraph 69 above are related to third-party suspects and Odinism. So anything that had to do with the third-party suspects and the Odinism, or the people involved in this group, is all the items that were not ever given over. That they had to essentially ask for. Well, this one not necessarily. All the items in 69 are related to third-party guilt. No, that one's not necessarily. Unless they know something about that video that we don't. Notice that all items are A through G in paragraph 69. I don't know. I don't know why they added that one in there then, because I don't think it does either. Also note that the prosecution is asking that the defense not be allowed to even mention any of these third-party suspects or Odinism during the trial. The evidence that the defense does have in its possession showcases that on multiple occasions, third-party suspect Brad Holder has changed his answer concerning a very basic question. How many times has he met Abigail Williams? According to the only police report that memorialized Brad Holder's accidentally destroyed first interview, Holder had stated that he had never met her. At the time he was first approached by law enforcement February 17, 2017, and asked that question, how many times did you meet Abby Williams? Common sense would dictate that answer would be fresh in Brad Holder's mind and easy to detail because of A, the proximity and time that Brad Holder's son dated Abby. Logan Holder was dating Abby Williams at the time of the murders. And B, the enormity of the situation, i.e., 2 girls had been murdered, one of whom dated Holder's son. He would know if he'd ever met her. I agree with that. He would absolutely know that he met her. If Brad Holder is in any way involved in the murders, as the defense believes the evidence strongly supports, then Brad Holder's claim, close in time to the murders, that he never met Abby Williams is understandable. Denying that he, Brad Holder, had ever met Abby Williams could, in Holder's mind at least, cause the police to take their attention off of Holder. Brad Holder's claim that he never met Abby Williams is understandable because they think he's involved. But if he's not involved, it makes no sense. That's worded terrible, by the way. If at his February 17th, 2017 interview, Holder was telling the truth that he never met Abby Williams, then his answer to police when asked the same question even 6.5 years later on August 30th should easily be the same. I never met her. Because a father would definitely remember if he had met his son's girlfriend who had just been murdered. Conversely, a father would know if he had never met the murdered girlfriend of his son involved in a high-profile case. So they're using ever and never. However, if at his February 17, 2017 interview, Holder was not telling the truth as to how many times he met Abby Williams, then it may be difficult for Holder to remember what lie he told law enforcement 6.5 years earlier when he's re-interviewed on August 30th, 2023. Remember, the same day that Click was there, and Click walks out and sees him in the lobby. Bad timing or purposeful timing. At his August 30th interview, Brad Holder's story changed. Now he claimed that, in fact, he had met Abby Williams one time. Either Brad Holder intentionally lied to police in 2017, closer in time to when Logan dated Abby, or Brad Holder had simply forgotten his meeting with Abby Williams, but then somehow remembered that meeting 6.5 years later. Then, at this May 2nd, 2024 deposition, Brad Holder provided yet a third different answer, that he had actually met Abby Williams 2 times. Furthermore, at his May 2nd, 2023 deposition, Holder remembered that one of those meetings occurred at Patrick Westfall's house. Brad Holder's ever-changing answers to such a simple question provides evidence that the missing items are exculpatory in nature. When combined with the evidence contained on Brad Holder's social media pages, including images of a rune inked on Holder's hand that mimics the way sticks were formed on Abby's body, as well as all the other evidence detailed in Frank's 1, the ever-changing stories of Brad Holder on the simple topic of how many times did you meet Abby Williams should all provide insight into why the defense believes that the missing evidence contained obviously is exculpatory evidence. How could it not be? How could it not be? It would be impossible for the defense to show that the missing evidence clearly contains exculpatory evidence. Therefore, the defense is left with providing circumstantial evidence, along with logic, reason, and common sense, as to why the many missing items would contain obvious exculpatory evidence. The defense believes that it was shown that the missing destroyed evidence is exculpatory in nature. The missing and destroyed evidence is exculpatory, but even if the court disagrees, the court should find the missing destroyed evidence as potentially useful and dismiss the charges. I don't think we're going to get that. I don't think we're going to get that, but you know, they go for the gold all the time. Can't knock them for that, but I don't think we're getting anything dismissed. As detailed in the accompanying memorandum, if this court finds that the missing destroyed evidence is not exculpatory but does find that it is potentially useful, then the court dismisses charges. If it also finds that law enforcement intentionally caused the potentially useful evidence to be destroyed or acted in bad faith regarding the missing evidence. Sometimes Andy's motions are just so wordy. He's so wordy. Frank's 1 through 4 provides many details of why this court should believe that law enforcement intentionally caused the potentially useful evidence detailed herein to be destroyed or acted in bad faith. The defense incorporates the contents of Frank's 1 through 4 in this motion. Provided below are a few facts that support the defense's contention that law enforcement has acted in bad faith or intentionally lost or destroyed evidence or have failed to turn over said evidence to the defense. Missing portions of vital video from Jerry Holman's 10/26/2022 interrogation. Jerry Holman interrogated Richard Allen on October 26, 2022, and said interrogation was videotaped. Well, they're throwing in the word interrogation, and remember, Holman's saying it was just a simple interview. He wasn't being interrogated. So there was no need to give him any Miranda because it was 13 days after he'd gotten it from other officers at another police department. So Jerry Holman interrogated him. It was on videotape. However, the first few minutes of the interrogation are inexplicably missing. The missing portions of the video, according to Jerry Holman, would have shown Holman discussing Richard Allen's Miranda rights and his freedom to leave the room. Both important concepts that might support the legality or illegality of Holman's interrogation. No explanation exists to why the only portion of the videotaped interrogation that is missing is the crucial beginning of the interrogation. The missing video supports the defense contention that Holman knew he had screwed up and therefore edited out the first few minutes of the interrogation to avoid the statement being suppressed. I don't know if that's maybe, I don't know. I hate to think like that, but I don't know. The missing video from Holman's October 26th interrogation of Richard Allen is evidence of intentionality of law enforcement involving the concealment or destruction of evidence and or evidence of bad faith. Oh, Kelt, thank you. Thank you, Kelt. Lemonade, Dr. Pepper, new chair, you pick. Take all of it. Take all of it. Thank you. If you aren't actually free to leave, then you are under arrest. Hey, Scott, what's up? Hey, Peaches. And I believe Holder's son was 17 or 18 at the time. What business did he have messing with a 12, 13-year-old girl? I think he was 16, but I mean, I see your point still. But I think he was 16. I don't know. He looks like such a little twerp back then. He's just like a little skinny rail. A lot of poof, all gone. Just not here anymore. It's just gone. If you don't feel free to leave, you're in custody. Right, especially if he wasn't actually told he was free to leave. 16 and 13 is a felony. I don't think so. In Indiana, is it? Is that? No, it isn't. Is it really? I don't think he was that old. I think he was 16. Brad Holder's sick jokes about the murderer and murders on Facebook are disgusting, and it says a lot. Oh yeah, he was definitely egging on the social media, and now all that. I mean, obviously, a lot of people have screen recorded it, but the actual stuff is deleted because he went and took down that Facebook. They'd have to see what they could pull. Holman loves Brad. I'd be shocked if Fiend is wrong, right? I know, me too. That's why I'm like, wait a minute, is it really? Fiend, really? 16 to 13 in Indiana? Now they're both underage, no? I'm pretty sure he was 16. And Gold loves Nick, so there you go. So by that means that Gold loves Brad. That's essentially what unindicted say. Other states are totally different. It's pretty sick to joke around about any deaths. Never mind children. Never mind a child that your son actually knew and that you're on Facebook talking about how heartbroken he was and so on and so forth, even though he already has a new girl. I mean, he's a kid. He already has a new girlfriend like a month later, and he's talking on Facebook about how much he loves her. Oh, I think anything under 4. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, I could see that. But I mean, if they're like, they have to be like doing stuff. I don't know if they're doing anything like that. I don't even want to think like that. She's 13. I don't even want to think like that at all. My daughter's 13. Nope. I'd rather meet Koberger than Holder in a dark alley. Right, brown skittle. That's exact. I just look at you coming and reading my mind. Age of consent in Indiana is 16. That's what he said. Like I don't know. I've not found Fiend to be wrong on anything else. I had to question myself. As soon as I questioned him, I was like, wait a minute. I've got to be wrong here. Okay, so Jerry Holman lied on his August 10th, 2023 deposition that Brad Holder was never a suspect. In his August 10th, 2023 deposition, when asked if Brad Holder was ever a suspect, Holman said the following: "Not really, no." However, it is clear from reviewing emails between Doug Carter and the FBI that Brad Holder was a suspect very early on in the case. As stated before, Holder was thought to be a suspect, and his name was known as a suspect even at the highest level of the state police superintendent, Doug Carter, and even known to Indianapolis's top FBI agent, Jay Abbott. The fact that Holman misled the defense by claiming that Holder was not really a suspect is the evidence of the intentionality of law enforcement involving the concealment of evidence and or evidence of bad faith. And they testified to that in the motion to dismiss hearing on March 18th. The prosecution failed to... Oh, K-Bird? Yeah. Yeah. Hope Amber will keep speaking truth. Well, she was going to be at that last hearing, the one on the 7th that ended up, the hearing that never happened. But then there was the talk that Brad Holder was there, Murphy was there, Todd Click was there. I don't know, I just felt like it was going to be such a informative hearing. So the prosecution failed to turn over Todd Click's exculpatory evidence for 4 months, and then only turned it over after it was obvious that the defense would be learning of the existence of the Click letter. As detailed in Frank's 1 and numerous other pleadings, the prosecution chose not to turn over exculpatory evidence from May 1st, 2023 until September 8th, 2023 of a letter from Todd Click in 85 pages detailing his investigation. I'm at the point right now where I would almost need the prosecution to come forward and say, this is all the shit we didn't turn over, and not all of it has to do with Odinism and Brad Holder and Patrick Westphal. You know what I mean? Like, to show that they weren't purposely hiding things that have to do with just these people. Like, how do you, like, you have the Todd Click letter, you have the one interview that gets erased, you have no phone data that you should have extracted, you have, they don't go follow up with this alibi. Like, I almost need them to say, nah, this wasn't purely about Brad Holder or Patrick Westphal. Look at all the other people we didn't give you the info on. Like, that's where I'm at, for them to, like, say, this wasn't on purpose, that it just had to do with these people. Because that's a lot of coincidence. That's a lot of items. That's a lot of items to keep back, and it all have to do with the same topic. Like, I want to know that there's other shit that they kept back that didn't have to do with this. For them to be like, look, here's another, 7 things, 10 things that we didn't give you guys because it had nothing to do with anything. Contained in the Click letter was evidence that 3 law enforcement officers who investigated the case believed that third-party suspects, Brad Holder, Patrick Westphal, Elvis Fields, were involved in the murders, and Click's belief that the evidence supporting their involvement in the murders was much more compelling than the evidence against Richard Allen. As stated in previous pleadings, it is hard to believe that a much stronger example of exculpatory evidence could exist than the documentation that 3 law enforcement officers essentially believe that the wrong man may have been arrested. The fact that the prosecution refused to not immediately turn over the exculpatory Click letter for over 4 months is evidence of the intentionality of law enforcement involving the concealment of evidence and or evidence of bad faith. The prosecution failed to turn over exculpatory evidence contained in several videotaped statements until after the prosecution knew that the defense would soon learn of their existence. As detailed earlier in this motion and in Frank's 1, the prosecutor failed to turn over several videotaped interviews that provided exculpatory evidence concerning third-party suspects until after it was clear that the defense would soon be learning of the existence of those interviews. The prosecutor turned over these videotaped interviews nearly 9 months later than required under the rule and statute. Those videotaped interviews provided exculpatory evidence in terms of blown alibis of third-party suspects as well as connectivity between third-party suspects, and also provable lies told by third-party suspects concerning their knowledge of other third-party suspects. The fact that the prosecution failed to turn over exculpatory evidence that supports the involvement of third-party suspects in committing the murders until after the defense would soon learn of their existence is evidence of the intentionality of law enforcement involving the concealment of evidence and/or evidence of bad faith. The prosecution and law enforcement attempted to conceal the identity of the Purdue professor whose testimony contradicted the sworn statement of Jerry Holman. This matter has been detailed in Franks 1, 2, and 3 and in various other pleadings previously filed. At his August 10, 2023 deposition, Jerry Holman stated under oath that part of the reason that law enforcement ruled out the persons practicing Odinism or some type of cult had committed the murders was because a Purdue professor had ruled out such a possibility. However, after reviewing the Purdue professor's report prepared on or about March 1, 2017, as well as listening to the Purdue professor's September 19, 2023 interview, it was determined that Purdue professor never made such a claim as Jerry Holman stated in his deposition. Furthermore, at his deposition, the Purdue professor specifically denied that he ever made the very statements that Holman attributed to Turco. Additionally, the prosecution told the defense in a September 6, 2023 email that the identity of the Purdue professor was still unknown and may not ever be found. This was untrue as Jerry Holman had already learned of Turco's name weeks earlier. Additionally, the defense learned that the actual Purdue report from March 1, 2017, which also contradicted Holman's deposition testimony, was in the possession of law enforcement since that time, but was purportedly rediscovered by law enforcement in August of 2023. The prosecution finally produced said report to the defense on October 1st, 2023, and only upon request of the defense. That's what I'm saying. There's just so much that has to do with these people, this situation, this religion. I want to know if, like, I really want, like, Nick to just come out and be like, oh, hell no, we kept all kinds of shit from him. Like, to make this not important, you know what I mean? So the prosecution finally produced this report to the defense on October 4th of 2023 and only upon the request of the defense. Jerry Holman's August deposition testimony was false concerning the findings of the Purdue professor, and therefore his testimony is evidence of law enforcement's intentionality in attempting to conceal evidence and/or evidence of bad faith. The attempt of law enforcement and the prosecutor to conceal the identity of the Purdue professor is further evidence of this intentionality. I'm not reading that over and over again. This is what Andy just, he's so damn wordy. Hey, Steven! The prosecution failed to turn over the key pieces of evidence for nearly 9 months, and then only after the defense kept requesting the prosecution for the same. A key piece of evidence in the case is the phone data extracted from victim Liberty German's phone. How did they not turn that over? How did they not turn that over right away? And here's a point that I know people argue this, you know, with the two sides of everything. And I want to put my opinion out there because, you know, my channel, my opinion. There's a lot of people saying, why would the defense want the video or Abby's or Libby's phone to not be included in the evidence? Why do they want to get rid of it? And I will say, I do not believe that they care about getting rid of it. What they're trying to do is make a record of exactly what Nick has not been giving and turning over to the defense. There are evidentiary rules. A lot of people keep saying they have until 15 days before trial. Well, there's also the evidence rules that are based on anything that you're using in your probable cause. And I'm not wording it with the legal thing because I don't have it up, but I'm just kind of paraphrasing it. That you have 30 days post-hearing, first hearing, to turn over anything that you're using to arrest this person. Libby's phone is talked about in the PCA. So when we're talking about two totally different rules of evidence. So Libby's phone and phone extraction should have been turned over within the first 30 days. It was something they already had. It was something they used in the probable cause affidavit. So that's why it's coming up in filings. I don't think they think at all that the video or anything on Libby's phone is going to be thrown out. This is literally for the record of, hey, Nick has a track record of not following evidentiary rules. That's what this is, in my opinion. I think I said that beforehand. Why are they going so hard for Richard Allen? Is it just a matter of pride at this point? They have no evidence and won't let defense present anything. It seems like a personal vendetta. I think none of these people like each other. I think that's completely clear at this point, that I don't know how they would ever, they'll never be able to work together on anything. I don't even know. It's going to be so contentious. I just think Holder, etc. were looked at early on but cleared. It makes sense they were looking at him as they work out from the victim's associates, like work outwards. I just think Holder, etc. were looked at. Okay, well, same thing. Okay, but the only problem I have with that is they didn't continue to clear him. And if that's how they cleared everybody, then I have a real problem. So like if that's what they could, they're told that Brad Holder has an alibi, right? So they just pick up the phone and they call the lady at the HR desk at the landfill, and they're like, hey, and she's like, oh yeah, we have his time card here, and then you guys could probably get him on video coming and going. Nobody bothers to follow up with any of that. They don't go and get his time cards to say, hey, this is what it is. They don't go and get this video to say, look, there's Brad Holder. You could see him on video driving right through the gate. There you go. There's Brad Holder leaving. You can see him going right through the gate. So I don't know how picking up the phone and just talking to somebody doesn't really clear anybody. Not legally. Not if they're an actual suspect. I think my biggest issue is that they didn't go and clear these people. Why didn't they finish this investigation into these people? Why, when Todd Click shows up on August 30th, even if they can't tell Todd Click what the evidence is against Richard Allen, why don't they give him what they did to actually clear the suspects he was investigating or helping Murphy and Ferenczi investigate later? Why isn't there a conversation between Murphy, Ferenczi, and even if it's not Todd Click at the time, just Murphy and Ferenczi with the unified command going over all the things that were why Brad Holder, Patrick Westfall, Elvis Fields, what they did to clear any of those people? Why would the unified command allow this FBI task force to continue investigating a group of people that they had clear and solid alibis for? I can't wrap my mind around that. That bothers me. And that's why I said that doesn't mean to go from one to making that he's absolutely the guy and he did this. It just shows to me that they didn't do their due diligence on investigating this case, which we kind of suspect anyway. And I'm totally going on a rant here. We kind of suspect anyway because we have these tips that are being turned in at the beginning and nobody's even talking to these people. People who say, I was at the bridge that same day. And it's like, oh, well, we'll get to you in about 5.5 years after we've gone through all the tips over and over and over again, as we keep telling the public we're doing. That's my struggle with it. And that's why I say, like, if I was like a Brad Holder, I'd be fucking mad. Like, let me just tell you right now, if I ever get investigated, even for a hot minute, and they're like, hey, come in, your son's dating so-and-so, I'm going to be like, take all the phones, do the extractions. Like, I don't want to come back here 7 years later and anybody thinking that we did anything. Just take it all. Take anything you want. Just do it. Just make sure you want to come in, you want to look around. You know what I mean? Especially after, like, we cover, like, the Karen Reed case and and this one, I'm just like, yeah. Oh. Yeah, but you know what? They're not going to, but nobody's saying it. They didn't do it. They didn't do it. Patrick Westfall says they never even interviewed him. They just knocked on his door and was like, hey, what are you doing? What's happening? Where were you? So it's not even just the defense. It's these people who are saying they didn't interview us. Cheyenne, she was at the bridge. She says they didn't show up for 2 weeks to interview her. Richard Allen, we know nobody bothered to talk to him. Hey, Greenlee. Libby's phone will not hurt RA's case. I think the Persons was a Freemason, and the prosecutor is also a Freemason, so they're covering. I know that people have like done these deep dives into the Freemason stuff. It's so hard for me, and not to say that it's not, because there's always the groups of crazy people who do crazy shit. This is like a religious, like weird. There's always the outliers, the fringe. But my grandpa was a Mason, like a high up Mason, and that guy never helped me get out of a fucking ticket. So like to think that like they just have all these connections because of it, it's like so hard for me to wrap my mind around, because he didn't help me get out of anything. Or maybe he didn't care to. I don't know. But I'm just like, I don't know. Oh yeah, Greenlee. Oh yeah, you got to go back to the beginning. The beginning of this doc is, oh jeez. I'm surprised they didn't just put up flyers saying, "Come to this meeting if you killed the girls." Then anyone who didn't come to the meeting was cleared. It actually might not have been a bad idea, and then they could just go and actually follow up with the people who didn't show up. It's a big jump, but it's hard to come to other conclusions. My grandfather was a Mason too, but he was dead. Well, mine wasn't. Brad Holdwee said he was going to sue these dudes. Then he deleted that post. Then he deleted his whole Facebook. From my understanding, I don't believe that he can. I think he'd actually have a better chance of anybody on social media saying it, but I don't know. I don't think he actually can just in a court filing. Hey, Wheelbee. My dad was a 33rd Mason and Shriner. All the info is overblown. That's why I'm like, I know that there's like fringe of everything. So it's not to say that there's not some weird secret society thing that they have going on that's possible, especially in Midwest Indiana. I ain't putting it past anybody. No, it's Holdwee. I like Holdwee better. My dad and grandpa, uncles, all Masons. Their motto, you make your bed, you sleep in it. That's why I said maybe grandpa just didn't want to help me. I believe it's Holdus. Obviously Holdy. Oh, that's so funny. How can Nick prove anything without Libby's cell data? Well, I mean, the only biggest thing you're going to prove is that they're found there. That's the biggest thing that they'd have. There are rogue Mason groups, real thing, right? Like, yeah, that's I believe that about everybody. It's just tough. HCC is a Mason, and he's pretty normal for Indiana. Okay. How can, where are we at? I missed one. Hold on. To be fair, though, T, a lot of dads and grandpas are Masons, but there's an inner circle in the fraternity past the 33 and Shriners. Basic, y'all's dads were recruits, but Masons. I got you. Just a bunch of rich white men networking. It made sense, Greenlee. I'm beginning to think nothing is normal in Indiana. Oh, shit, right? All right, where were we? The prosecution and law enforcement had possessed that evidence for 5 years prior to Richard Allen's arrest, and therefore should have been able to provide that evidence immediately to the defense. However, the defense did not receive that evidence until September 8th of 2023, almost 9 months later than required under criminal rule. That's weird to me. Why wouldn't that be one of the very first things you give over? After the defense had a chance to review said data from the phone, it was determined that exculpatory evidence existed in the phone that did not support law enforcement's timeline and supports that third-party suspects were involved in the murders. Oh, duh, wait. They're saying that something in Libby's phone shows that somebody else is involved. The failure of law enforcement to turn over Liberty German's phone for nearly 9 months, thereby concealing exculpatory evidence the defense could have been exploring from the beginning of their representation, is further evidence of intentionality in attempting to conceal evidence and or evidence of bad faith. Now, this is interesting. Why aren't they putting in here what it is? They don't seem to, the defense doesn't ever seem to have a problem dropping whatever the hell they want to in whatever filing they want to. Why aren't they putting in here what the evidence is on Liberty German's phone that's exculpatory? The Anthony, well, that would be really easy to put in here, right? Have they? I have no idea. I have no idea if they've reached out to anybody. Skull and Bones, yeah. Seems to be men of education. We don't need to worry about that. I didn't read the last part of that. Text with Logan. Maybe there's something on there about can't buy the cow if you can get the milk for free. Hence why you're waiting for your second husband. Because they don't want to trigger off that person that's involved. Well, they didn't have a problem triggering all these other ones. They might not want to publish it in hopes of getting justice for Abby and Libby. I struggle with that just because they had no problem throwing everybody else out there. Brad Holder called himself Shawn Michael of the Shawn Michael of Delphi. Well, he thinks he's freaking Steve Rogers too. So it's planted on her phone. Ah, goodness. All right, where were we at? However, the defense did not receive it until 9 months later. After the defense had a chance to review said data from the phone, it was determined that exculpatory evidence existed. We just read that, right? The failure of law enforcement to turn it over, thereby concealing it. Same thing as every other one. Law enforcement concealed the Blotcher. Oh, the Blotcher report until April 26th of 2024. On April 26th, the state of Indiana turned over a report from Steve Mullen concerning the findings of Sergeant Mitch Blotcher. This is the whole phone pings, and that the phone was either not in working condition, or no longer in the area. Contained in the body of that report was exculpatory information concerning ping information that supports that on February 13th, the victims were not located at the same scene as they were found on February 14th. The failure of law enforcement in turning over this report for well over 1 year beyond when the prosecution was required to turn it over, and only after the defense sent a certified letter and filed a motion to compel and for sanctions, demanding that the prosecutor turn over certain evidence, is further evidence of the intentionality. Now, supports that on February, the victims were not located. I disagree with this. The victim's phone was not there. That does not mean the victims were not there. Even if they want to go with that, which I don't even know if we're there yet, but just even in that sentence, though, if the phone is removed does not mean that the victims were removed. That's a little misleading, in my opinion. There's no proof. They have not provided any proof by saying that these phone pings are all over the place. Does it have anything to do with that the victims were not located there? Well, the defense can't arrest anybody, Lynn. You know that. The defense doesn't have any authority to arrest anybody. And ISP is obviously not going to arrest them for anything. They're not even going to investigate them. So somebody brought the phone back. Even if we go with what the defense stated in the motion when they're talking about the phone pings, it's not that they cannot show that there is anything to do with the victims being moved. They can't. Not yet, anyway. Maybe they have something else, but not in these motions that they're talking about. So that's literally would say the victim's phone was not located at the same scene as the phone was found at on February 14th. I think that's misleading. The failure of law enforcement in turning over this report for well over a year beyond when the prosecution was required to turn it over, and only after the defense sent a certified letter, filed a motion. I think I already read that. Okay, more bad faith. Tobe Lesenby contradicted the sworn testimony of both Jerry Holman and Tony Liggett concerning the number of people involved in the murders. This matter is detailed in the Franks 1. Both Liggett and Holman testified under oath that only one person, Richard Allen, was involved in the murder of the victims. This is problematic because we have a district attorney that's literally saying that he wants it sealed. But I mean, when people will argue that was possibly people after the fact. I don't know. This is a tough one. This is a tough one for me to kind of wrap my mind around. Was involved in the murder of the victims. The proclamation under oath by Liggett and Holman would negate the defense's contention that evidence supports that multiple people involved in Odinism were involved in the murders. However, when Tobe Lesenby was deposed, Lesenby stated under oath that Tony Liggett actually believed that multiple people were involved in the murders. Maybe he changed his mind. This conflicting sworn testimony of law enforcement is further evidence of intentionality on the part of law enforcement to conceal their actual beliefs concerning the number of people involved in the murders of the victims in order to direct the defense away from theories that Odinists were involved in the murders, and additionally is evidence of bad faith. No recordings of Richard Allen's interview with Dan Doolin exists. This whole part about Tobe, I mean, they cover that a lot in the Franks, so I don't think we really need to talk too much about it. It's the same, literally the same thing. Tobe says that there's multiple. Tobe also says that Liggett told him there was multiple, that they had conversations about it. So no recordings of Richard Allen with Dan Doolin. In 2017, Dan Doolin has stated that Doolin, knew that he audio recorded interviews when conducting interviews of tips and leads. Doolin claims that he now believes that he never audio recorded his interview, because remember, he was going to go back and search for it. Recorded his interview of Richard Allen. I think I must not have audio recorded it because all the other ones that I had are in a file on my computer. And I listened to each of them just in case they were mislabeled, every audio recording I have. Oh, shit. And none of them was of Mr. Allen. Are anybody else's missing or just his? Hi, allegedly innocent. It's good to see you. Happy Monday. Not DB Cooper. They say Patrick Holder in this motion, too. I was like, oh, fuck. Does he know Richard Logan? Someone should take away Rosie's keyboard when he's about halfway finished. I think this is Baldwin's. Baldwin's the wordy one. Dan Dolan doesn't need to record things because he has a photographic memory. But he recorded everybody else's, and he actually sat down and listened to all of his other recordings. I would be curious, is anybody else's missing? Why does he just not have that one? This interview is crucial as Doolin claims Allen told him helped establish the timeline used to secure a search warrant and to arrest Allen. The defense believes that Richard Allen was tape recorded and that the missing tape supports intentionality on the part of law enforcement and or evidence of bad faith. Well, that's when you have to know how many other ones are missing. Hey, Jeanette, what's up? Carrie's like, seriously, what is going on in Indiana? What's up, TJ? Did Rosie's firm, what did it have to do with Keegan? I don't know. I'm not connecting that one in my brain right now. I know his partner was Ron Logan's attorney, but I can't connect him to Keegan right now in my brain. Everybody's fired. Well, technically, everybody's promoted. You get a promotion, and you get a promotion, and you get a promotion. Baldwin is just so repetitive. He really needs to shorten it up a bit. I think he could have fit all this on a lot less pages. The defense believes that Richard Allen was taped over on purpose. So missing mimicked crime scene image. This was detailed earlier in this motion and in Frank's one. The fact that this incredibly exculpatory piece of evidence cannot be accessed and therefore is still missing, causing them to travel to Georgia to obtain said image is evidence of intentionality. Brad Holder is a key third-party suspect, yet Jerry Holman denied that fact, and then law enforcement failed to turn over. Well, he's going to deny it because he doesn't think he is a key third-party suspect. Failed to turn over multiple pieces of evidence that support Holder's involvement, along with other third-party suspects identified in Frank's. Furthermore, law enforcement have claimed that Brad Holder's initial interview was taped over. Okay. Furthermore, law enforcement claim apparently that they never extracted the data from Brad Holder's phone, yet they extracted it from 101 other people. Most of them aren't even relevant. Is this real life? I know, huh? Akey, was it Andrew Akey was Ron Logan's? Did he also have to do with Keegan Klein, though? Hold on. let's see. So was it with the 70 days missing? I'm sure it's IT exculpatory. I'm sure it's exculpatory, so they had to delete it. I mean, yeah, the same character swapping jobs, promotions, quitting. I still want T on Judge on Judge Diener. I got you. You guys and your typos tonight are killing me. Fiend, we can go back to Florida. I loved living there. TJ's talking about that guy. But did he do both? I don't remember him doing Keegan Klein. I can't place it in my head. Aki did represent Klein too? Okay. It's only it just doesn't. I got you, Greenlee. I got you. Yeah, he withdrew right before Klein was sentenced. Okay, maybe that's why I'm not remembering. Okay, so like this is just so repetitive at this point. Along with other third-party suspects identified Frank, law enforcement have claimed that Brad Holder's initial interview was taped over. Law enforcement claimed that they never extracted his phone data. Law enforcement never extracted his phone data when they extracted his son's phone data. Law enforcement turned over zero evidence of Brad Holder's second interview that Brad Holder talks about on May 2nd, 2024. Law enforcement claimed that they cannot access the mimicked crime scene photo that was Brad Holder's. Brad Holder and Odinism, which of the prosecution is also attempting to block the defense from even mentioning in trial. That's what happens to be all the missing evidence has to do with all of that stuff, of course. Of course it does. Richard Allen cannot have a fair trial when exculpatory evidence that would support the involvement of third-party suspects is missing. I mean, the fact that there's so much of it missing just to do with these people, that's not... I'm at this point, just come and show me everything you destroyed, so I just don't believe it has to do with Brad Holder, and I just think you guys fucked up everything. That's where I'm at. What's up, TNT? Only so many coincidences can explain away why so much evidence concerning Brad Holder and Odinism is still missing, and why the prosecution failed to turn over much of the evidence that the defense does in fact possess concerning third-party suspects for 9 months or more, and only after the prosecution knew that the defense would soon be learning of the existence of that third-party suspect evidence. Why didn't they give it to them at the beginning? The bad faith of law enforcement and prosecution has been proven through these numerous examples of missing evidence and evidence that the prosecution failed to turn over to the defense in a timely manner. Because the missing evidence is exculpatory in nature, the charges against Richard Allen should be dismissed. Even if the court finds that the missing evidence is not exculpatory, it is clearly potentially useful evidence, and the numerous examples of bad faith contained in this motion require that the charges against Richard Allen be dismissed. Wherefore, pursuant to the law detailed in his memorandum in support of this motion, as well as the facts contained in the motion, the defense requests this court to dismiss all of the charges against Richard Allen. Well, that ain't gonna happen. I mean, we can still sit here and go WTF, but she's not dropping nothing. Well, right now she can't do anything until she makes the decision to not recuse herself. And then she can come in here and she'll just deny. Can FBI investigate them like they did in Canton? I was wondering that too. I'm like, how did they get the FBI to do this entire grand jury federal investigation while the case was ongoing? I mean, Karen Reed's case was ongoing when they did it. It's like somewhat unheard of. I'm trying to think of other cases I've ever heard of anything like that happening. There's more than incompetence, but also incompetence and ego, pride, corruption. I'm no conspiracy theorist, an analyst by profession, but here's more than hillbilly cops, obviously. I just keep going back, like, did they just fuck things up so bad that they are just covering up for themselves and now they're just like trying to rectify it? You know, are they just getting caught in some of the other shit that they did wrong? Damn, I need a cigarette. I know, right? Do judges normally get guidance from each other? Example, can Goal refer to Supreme Court for direction, or is that not allowed? I don't think she can directly ask them, but what she can talk to other judges for direction, and she can use any type of rulings that the Supreme Court or other judges have done. Kind of reminds me, I feel like Brian Koberger, Judge, he really pays a lot of attention to what Judge Boyce does from the Vallow Daybell case. He like really keeps an eye on the decisions he makes and kind of follows suit with him. She could do that. I don't think that, I have no idea. I have no idea why she doesn't. I don't feel like there's a chance of a fair trial with her on the case. I just don't. I used to be wishy-washy about it, but now I'm at the point where I'm like, no. She adamantly does not like them. And whether you think Richard Allen did it or not, you can't have him go to prison just because Gold doesn't like his attorneys. Like, that doesn't, you got to have evidence to put him there. Demar says, I don't smoke, but I still need a cigarette. The FBI was never involved in the investigation in Canton, so that's why I believe the FBI got involved in Canton, because it was about the lead investigator. Also, Attorney General for Massachusetts was involved. Well, the Attorney General for Indiana is somewhat involved. He's done interviews on the case. He's also been part of the Supreme Court hearings. And you have this unified command that seems to delete all kinds of shit all over the place. Accidentally, on purpose, who knows? The FBI investigated Delphi, though. True, but they weren't in charge. I don't know. I wonder if they are. I don't know. I don't know why they couldn't do it. I don't know what requirement it would take, to be honest with you. Right? All the evidence from one specific guy and one specific group, it's just gone, Brockways. That's just how it goes. That's why, just literally show me how bad you just deleted everything else so that I don't believe it was on purpose about this group of people. But if you're incompetent, do you know what shit you got to cover up? That's a fair point, too. The FBI can't help they messed up, too. But the FBI doesn't have jurisdiction to do the investigation in Massachusetts. Right. Well, that's why I can't get the feds to investigate this. They want to hide evidence. Show me the receipt. I think that's what they literally just did. They just kind of showed you the receipt that everything they've talked about, they can't have. And that's why I'm at the point where I need to know that they just didn't turn any of this stuff over along with other stuff. That it wasn't intentional about this group of people. Because right now, and I get it's from the defense's perspective, but right now it looks like you have McClelland, who's already come out in motions and said, we gave them everything, even if it didn't matter, no matter what it was. We turned over all the tips. We turned over anything that we had. We gave it to them. We didn't even bother to look through it and say, nope, we don't need to give them that. It's not important. We gave them everything anyway. So he says we gave them everything. That's out of his motions, out of his mouth. And yet they didn't. That's problematic. What did Nunya say? Quick, delete the Penske file. They interviewed his neighbors. They interviewed his wife. Who are we talking about? Are you talking about Richard Allen? Are you talking about which one? Well, they needed to investigate Brad Holder, and they didn't do any of those things that you're asking if they did it to Richard Allen. Brad Holder was the suspect at the beginning. Logan Maxwell was the suspect at the beginning. They went and took a search warrant, went into his house, and looked for guns and looked for, took computers, all kinds of stuff at Maxwell's. Well, they didn't, Richard Allen wasn't around. They should have probably investigated him back then, but they filed the tip incorrectly because, you know, mistakes. But I'm not talking about right now. I'm not talking about right now to investigate them. They should have already investigated this group of people and already cleared them with actual evidence to clear them. And then we wouldn't be here right now. If they had done what needed to be done, this wouldn't even be a question. If they had gone and gotten the videotape of Brad Holder leaving the landfill and saying, hey, look, here's Brad Holder coming to work and here's Brad Holder leaving, Brad Holder would not be mentioned right now. It would be done. When we talk about that he has an alibi, that would be an alibi. Right now, him saying I was doing something else doesn't work. All they did was call. And that's according to both sides. That's in both people's motions that they feel like that was enough, or not even both people's motions. That's what one of them testified to on March 18th. He's like, no, we called. We called and she said that he was there. And they were like, well, did you verify it? Did you go and get the video? Did you see if he switched cars with his son? Like, did you do any of those things? Like, nope, we didn't have to because he wasn't a suspect. Well, now we're learning, wait a minute, Doug Carter did call him a suspect. It's their problem that they didn't do the right investigation at the beginning of this. That's where I'm at with it. I'll go with the same thing with Canton. Canton PD should have, well, they should have even been involved to begin with, but I get that they were kind of stuck in this rock and a hard place. They probably just need some more training. But if they had just fully done what they were supposed to do, go in, actually interview these people inside of that house, and have a crime scene, people come and process the house, it'd be done. They wouldn't even be able to use this third-party stuff because it'd be done. These people would be alibied out. This is shoddy police work. So when these people get mad at the defense team, I think that's like, oof. You might want to take a look at your friendly cops, your friendly neighborhood police officers. I think we broke T. They don't, though. They said they don't. He testified on the stand to the fact that they don't. They never went and got it. He said they didn't. All right, let's take a look at this. I've not looked at this memorandum. So this is the memorandum attached to the motion to dismiss. At issue is the purposeful or negligent failure to preserve and or the destruction of material and exculpatory evidence critical to the defense of Mr. Allen. It also involves the attempted concealment of the identity of key witnesses such as Jeffrey Turco. Why are they spelling his name with a T now? Oh, hold on. I wanted to check that. Yeah, it is Andy Baldwin for sure. Yeah, it's so wordy. It had to be Andy. So it also involves the attempted concealment of I don't know why he's putting a Turcotte on here. Why are they changing his name to Turcotte? And other exculpatory evidence such as Todd Click's letter, the evidence referenced referred to by Click in his letter. This would include new examples of missing evidence detailed in the motion filed simultaneously herewith. Indiana states that this court may, upon motion of the defendant, dismiss an information upon certain grounds. In this case, the defendant's requests the court to dismiss this information pursuant to Indiana Code, which states that a motion to dismiss an information may be granted for any other ground that is a basis for dismissal as a matter of law. Such grounds would include a violation of a defendant's constitutional right to due process. Additionally, trial courts have inherent authority to dismiss criminal charges where the prosecution of such charges would violate a defendant's constitutional rights. Is merely legislative recognition of this authority. Such grounds would include a violation of defendant's constitutional right to due process. So they're just citing different precedents, case precedents that show this. A motion to dismiss based upon a ground specified may be made or renewed at any time before or during trial. We typically always see one of these. You always see one of these once the state rests and right before the defense does their case. Hold on. You'll see it in the new motion. Is there another motion from the state that I'm missing? I don't know if there's another motion out. I think I read them all. Unless there's another one. Somebody tell me if there's another one that already dropped that I'm missing. Oh, when it comes out. You'll see it in the new motion. Well, that's intriguing, Lynn. Now I'm curious. Okay. I'll pay attention. Motion dismissed based upon the ground specified in this code. Okay, this is essentially just them going through all the case law and all the case precedent that shows that with exculpatory evidence, I don't think I even need to read this. I'll go through it real quick. This is just every case that they could cite that had something to do with exculpatory evidence or the intentionality behind destruction or hiding of evidence or done in bad faith. And this is just, here's your Indiana Constitution. Yeah. Okay, so the memorandum is literally just the legal mumbo jumbo that has to go along with filings. And this one just apparently has to be separate. Hey, Youngblood. Supra. Conclusion, the only remedy that serves the interests of justice and guarantees Mr. Allen's constitutional rights is dismissal. Well, I do not foresee it being dismissed. I will tell you that. Even if I believe, which I pretty much do, think that there are a lot of shit that they did not turn over, whether they thought it was intentional or not. It's not going to be dismissed. She's not going to dismiss the case. I think that I would probably try to do a backflip, and not because I'm like excited that he would get out or anything like that, but literally because I don't think she would ever rule anything like that, and I would probably freak out that she did something that I would not believe she would ever do. There could be a video of a black man committing the murders, and Go would say Richard Allen painted himself in mud before he committed the crime, which matches the witness statements. They're outright calling Holman a liar. Well, not as outright as McClelland, who we believe was truly Diener, but McClelland signed off on it, where they legit called the defense team a liar. And I mean, McClelland essentially says that in court anyway. I don't know. I'm telling you, like, what we see right now, I don't think is what we're going to see come October. I really don't. But I don't think she's not going to dismiss anything. She's so full of herself that she's not going to recuse herself. She doesn't see anything wrong with what she's doing. The only reason I think that she would go is because she knows that they would take it back to the Supreme Court, and she might not want to deal with them, because I think she really thought with the first original actions, I think she thought she was going to be supported, and I think she was kind of thrown that she wasn't. Even though it was only on one thing, I think it did throw her, and I think it pissed her off at these guys even more. Like, why are you even back here? I don't even want you in my courtroom. So I'd be surprised if she wants to try it, if she wants to play Russian roulette with the Supreme Court again, especially because there's a lot more evidence now than there was then about her bias. So I'd be surprised. So she has to rule on that. Then she can order whatever she chooses to on all the rest of the motions, and then we're back in the same boat. I mean, she's not going to, I don't see her saying, I'm not going to recuse and I'm going to dismiss the charges. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, I don't think anybody in this chat, no matter what you think about Richard Allen, thinks that's going to happen. Normally I'm a lurker most often, but I just want to say that people in general are very nice in this chat. I think there's pretty badass people in this chat. There's people kind of all over the spectrum on whether some are adamant that he's innocent, some are adamant that he's guilty, and some are like me who are just like, what the hell's going on? I covered 2 cases today where I can walk away from them going, what the hell is going on? What the hell is this? Is this for real? Long and hard, T goes long and hard. 4 pit bulls. So bad. Play ball. The defense doesn't have a case to defend RA. They don't. I think that's a misconception, though, because all they have to do is create reasonable doubt. They don't have to prove that anybody else did it. They just have to prove pretty much what they're doing to the world right now is saying, hey, this is reasonable doubt. If you look at the statistics of even what's being covered on social media, it's probably a pretty close 50-50. Think of a jury of 12 and you get 6 and 6. You know what that is? That's a mistrial. So there's a struggle there. Andrew, thank you. Woohoo! Mother of dragons. Mother of dragons. So they don't have to prove that these people did it. They don't have to put them there. They don't have to match DNA. They don't have to do any of that. The burden is really on the state. And then they just have to poke holes in it. The evidence will if he's guilty, Lynn, I pray you're right. I really do. I really, really do. I hope that if he really did this, that they have something to show that he did it outside of this flippin' unspent round and confessions that had nothing to do with nothing when he was arrested. That's where I'm at. Because if he did it, I do not want him walking free. And I don't ever want that to be misconstrued on whether I agree with Judge Gold or don't agree with Judge Gold. Does not mean that I think Richard Allen, if he's if he's guilty that I think, oh, we should just let him go. I don't. If he did this, I could give two shits about what happens to him after the fact, and I will be happy for the girls. My problem right now is I'm not convinced. So I pray that you're right. I really, really do. Because I hope it's more than what we've seen. I really hope it's more than what we've seen. Because I don't know how they're going to convince a jury of all 12 that he did it. And if he is the guy, and that is all they have, and he gets to walk because they don't have anything else, then I'm fucking pissed. Because now they are the ones that let the child killer go. So, I'm not, there is no me preaching to let Richard Allen free. I'm not. I absolutely not. I'm not, and I think that he should be in a jail. I think that's different than saying that he should be walking the streets. Going green with criminality. Look at you, turned all kinds of people green. Did you do another 5? Oh, you did. Thank you. I just feel compelled to say I don't understand comments that only people involved in litigating this case are privy to the evidence, so anyone saying that is full of shit or part of litigation. I think that they believe that there's more. And I don't know if it is because they know that there's more, or if they just are of the belief that there's no way the prosecution doesn't have more. I think a lot of people believe that. Even whether they know it or not, I think they believe that Nick McClellan is going to come to the table with more evidence, that he's keeping close to the vest, and that we're going to find out at trial. And I'm telling you right now, I do. I really hope those people are right, because then we can all walk away going, holy shit, Nick, badass job. You did it. You had him, and you got him, and you got the guy, and you locked him up, and he's never going to hurt anybody again. That's what I want to walk away from this trial feeling. I like to listen to everybody. That's why I'm like, I don't care. I let everybody's opinions in here as long as they're not assholes to each other or to me. Free Karen Reed. Oh, so speaking of, thank you, BR, for dropping that. So I wanted to say, I'm not going to name names. Those of you who donated, you know who you are. I have the request in for the transcripts of the May 7th and the hearing from last year that I think we just need in general to clear up some things that happen on social media, and we're going to have it as fact instead of anybody's notes from anything. In my link tree, it's my Venmo, my PayPal, Cash App, anything that you could think of. If you would like to donate to the purchasing of those transcripts, please, any help is appreciated. Do not feel obligated. It's just so, to help kind of set off the costs of getting them. We are kind of lucky now that we don't have to pay immediately for the 21st through the 24th or the 23rd hearings. We do have some time on that. But to those of you who have already donated, know that I've got it. Know that I thank you, and I appreciate your help very, very much. Anybody else who would like to donate, like I said, the link tree, it's also pinned at the top of the chat, or at least it should be. Sometimes I forget to do it. Any way of that you're comfortable with donating is there. So, like I said, I just appreciate any help I can get. They're desperate to get the search warrant out for Libby's phone. See, I don't think they are. I don't feel desperation. I think that just comes to like a trust thing too. No way one person did this. That's what a lot of people think. I will say once again, if there was more, we'd know. Nick expected a plea. He didn't want all this BS out there. The rumor, Susan, is that when the plea was offered, which we don't even know that there really was a plea offer, but it was all rumor, was that Richard Allen was going to take this plea deal, but Nick was going to make him go in front of the court and say what he did, and he refused to do that. I know, look at us all go green. Like green tea. I'm all about justice for Abby and Libby, and I'm all about the Constitution and making sure that his due process rights aren't violated, and that he's not. I don't think that he should be locked up in some weird place eating his poop. I think that's. I mean, if that's where we're at with this, I think we definitely have some things that we need to work on in the state of Indiana. Guilty or not guilty, he's still a pretrial detainee, and that means that could happen to anybody just because one sheriff says, we can't handle him here. Pro-justice, baby, always. Yep, that's it. That's all I could give two shits what somebody's opinion on the case is. I mean, we agree on one case and we completely disagree on another case. Like, if that balance is why I like somebody, I would be screwed. Because then it's like, I like you. No, I don't like you. We're friends. No, I hate you. We're going to talk shit about each other. And that's what that's how channels end up doing that a ton of times, is because they have a different opinion on a case. I don't. I like the people I like. I like people in here that are able to express their opinion and not be assholes to other people, whether you agree with them or not. And then there's people I don't like, and that actually doesn't matter what their opinion is on the case either. It's just because I don't like those people. Because they're dicks. All right, let me see. Was Nick going to tell RA what to say? If so, he knows more about what happened than RA knows. Digital, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? DB, you want to exclude as much evidence as possible if you are a criminal defense attorney. Yeah, I also think they need to make the record that Dick wasn't following the rules of discovery or the evidentiary rules. He just wasn't. So they're making sure that's on the record. What's up, Amber? Just got home from class. Carol, a quick hi and bye. Off to art class. I was going to say art to off class. Okay, yeah, I think I'm done for the day. The Karen Reed live, and now this one. I'm like, all right, I need a nap. Well, if nothing's popping off tomorrow, if nothing pops off in Delphi, I may do a single day recap of Karen Reed. But it's so hard. We'll just see how it pops off. We'll see what pops off. Somebody get Fiend a fucking burrito. He needs a burrito. Thanks, Bill. You're okay in my book, too. They have to refute the evidence if it's allowed to come in. They refute that with the third-party evidence. Yep. All right, TNT. Okay, I'm heading to bed because I'm going to be wild tomorrow and dressing up as... Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, shit. That'll be fun. So tomorrow on Karen Reed is the cross-examination of Jennifer McCabe by Alan Jackson, and I think it's going to be... Oh, Dean, you missed so much. You have got to go back. I don't normally say that, but I'm telling you on this one, there's so much popping off at the beginning of this motion. Yep, watching Karen Reed tomorrow, it's going to be spicy. It's going to be spicy. What's up, Terry? Let me see. Giselle's in mine too. It's a beautiful color. You're going to need a whole day for the Reed case tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see what happens. If it is super spicy and I think that it needs to be covered on an individual one, I will do my best to do it. I got to figure out kids' schedules. Did we read the memo? I went through the memo. It's all the legal stuff. I didn't find anything in here that needed to be read. Do you have something in here that you think needs to be read? I just kind of skimmed through it and talked about different cases that they were talking about. I don't think it's like hot diggity damn stuff. I mean, the motion to dismiss is fire. Andrew, thank you for the double lives today. You rock, T. Got to keep us all in the know. Got to keep us all updated. Tammy, you're late. Yes, we just did the motion to dismiss, which I know you've already read, girl, and it is something. So tomorrow, Karen Reed, spicy. Make sure you're watching it somewhere. Yeah, well, we know she is, Bill, for sure. I'm going to get a 6-pack of donuts and drink coffee from a red Solo cup. Then I'm going to demand free pizza from strangers. Oh, that's fucking funny. I think tomorrow is on Bob's channel because they were doing the recap on Jay's today. So I think tomorrow is Bob's. I don't know who asked that up there. If I didn't catch the comment. TNT, thank you. I'm green, baby. Happy Monday. Have fun tomorrow, Judge Bev. All right, you guys, I am going to go eat some dinner and get out of this stupid office chair that doesn't seem to be comfortable anymore. And maybe it's because I've been in it for so many hours. But I will try to see you guys tomorrow. If I do not see you tomorrow, I will definitely see you around YouTube. If I don't see you on a live here, I will see you guys Wednesday. So go enjoy the rest of your Monday evening / Tuesday morning, depending on where you are. And then Sleuthie says, in the words of Colin Albert, bang, bang.
Do you dare to follow me down? Head into the unknown. Down the rabbit hole. Where it stops, no